Welcome to the Red Half of Sheffield review / preview. Here to review what happened Thursday night at Ashton Gate and look forward to what could possibly happen Monday night under the lights of beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. Once again, I'm joined from the Forever Bristol City podcast. David joins the show. David, the dust is settled. We're 2 days on from it. How are you feeling?
I went into the game, Chad, with low expectation based on performances leading up to it, to be fair. Yeah, we weren't great. Had we been good, we'd have beaten Preston and we'd have been playing Sunderland on Friday night, not you guys. A lot of build-up for the game. Key players for us injured. But I didn't have, maybe, with the atmosphere pre-match, it was okay. A lot of effort putting the flags up. But, I wanted us to go up to Bramall Lane with something. And at half-time, that would have been a 1-0 reverse. Yeah. But we ended up, we were well beaten, and your triple substitution in the midway through the second half made a difference. I don't think we started with the right lineup. I don't think our substitutions were great. Bad day at the office, and in the last 4 games, we've scored 3 and conceded 12. So that tells its own story.
Yeah, that's it's a pretty bad goal scoring form. I'll ask you this: A, was it a penalty? B, do you think it was a red card?
Okay. Let's look at it in the context of the referee, because I don't know whether you've seen in the media up there or around. We have got history with Oliver Langford, and he sent off 2 of our players at Oxford back in February, I think it was. One of those decisions was reversed. He sent off in our favour, so you can't accuse him of bias. He's just an example of the inconsistent and crappiness that exists amongst referees at this level. He sent Hume of Sunderland off at our place when we beat them 2-1, and that would have been a wholly different game. Let me say that would have been a wholly different game had he played. And our manager, I call it Leo. Is it a cardinal sin? We complained about that referee being given the game, not just because of us, but he'd also sent off, a former Bristol City player, Liam Walsh, in the critical Luton-Coventry game, a decision that was later rescinded. So we held our hand up and said, this guy's got form for sending players off. He does seem to relish branding the red card. And to get back to your question, was it a penalty? Yeah, if it hadn't been, if it'd been the other way around, we'd have been absolutely gutted that we hadn't got it.
Yeah.
So Kiefer Moore knew how to play it. We were caught out defensively. He grappled the man. He played the ball, but it was the offence had already been committed. And now whether it's a red card as well, what is it, DOGSO, denying a goal scoring opportunity or something like that. There's a little bit of interpretation there, but in the cold light of day, you have to accept it. And then you got to say, he knew, if you've got a manager, if you've got a ref that likes to give penalties or send people off and what have you, just let them score. Let Kiefer Moore score, and he's still got 11 men on the pitch.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's these pressure-packed moments that these playoff semifinals and even the playoff finals, you hate to put it in the referee's hands. Yeah. And you honestly, what you just said there is probably the smartest piece of advice that anybody can take when it gets in the situation. If you know that it's going to be such a bad situation and possibly reduce your side to 10 men, let him slot the ball home. And yes, you're down a goal, but then you don't have an absolute mountain to climb up because you're down 10 men or and down 10 men and you're behind. I get it. It's almost a double-edged sword in a sense, but you would like to take the easier side of things in if you'd like, which is, Yeah, that's a take that
you got to look at two incidents before the game, one for either side, because you had a goal disallowed very early on.
Yep.
Yeah, there was quite a pause between the ball hitting the net and the referee making a decision. To the extent I said to the person sat next to me at the game, I said, "Have we got VAR on this?" Now, obviously, the referee and the linesman can talk to each other, but it seemed a bit dubious, that decision.
Yeah.
But then just after that, and again, it becomes a different game. We had that thunderous shot from Joe Williams that came off the bar. If that goes in, that gives us the lead. It raises the crowd. Yada yada yada. That's you don't know what can happen after that.
For sure. And I completely have put that on my mind too. Yeah, I don't want to say controversy. The city pack allegedly touching the ball, but it's not even coming from the head referee. It's coming from the linesman that says he's touched the ball off sides. Where you look at the replay, it doesn't look like he touched the ball. But in Bristol City's favor, at least it wasn't 4-0. I will say this pre-match, that atmosphere at Ashton Gate and the flags and everything around the pitch made that ground look absolutely spectacular. So whoever set that up did a fantastic job, and kudos should go to them. You're one of what, 12 teams left in the country playing, and your game's going to be broadcast across the world, and absolutely stunning to see when the players walked out. It was pretty badass to see that.
Yeah, and for those that didn't know, because we didn't know, we have got a Japanese player, and we thought, why have they got the Japanese flag behind the other end of the goal? But that was the Victory in Europe RAF insignia there, because I had to ask. I didn't know what that was. But no, the atmosphere was good, and it was an occasion. And look, if you are under 23, that's working on the basis that between the age of 0 and 6, you don't remember much that went on. You wouldn't have, we were in the playoffs 17 years ago. So this was our biggest league game for that length of time. So a lot of people, early 20s and youngsters, they haven't seen it before. So let's get excited about it. I think another reason why I went into the evening feeling a bit flat was because Preston, and then I looked at 3 results at the weekend. Brentford 4, Man United 3, Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 2, Brighton 1, Newcastle 1. We've locked swords, as indeed Sheffield United have over the years, but we've been knocking around with Brentford, Bournemouth and Brighton a lot. And you look at them, and there's a song from the 70s that goes, "It should have been me." You just wonder, well, why will it ever be us? And it certainly can be. We're the best one in the world. We ain't going to do anything on Monday night. In fact, I'm sure the players are on the beach in their heads already now.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Turning to Monday night, what do you? Okay, I'll ask the question this way to you. How much of a percentage in your head do you give Bristol City to overcome this deficit?
5%.
Okay. Okay, from your point of view, how does Bristol City get back in this tie?
They need to get a goal inside the first 15 minutes. Yeah. It probably needs a mistake. That's the first thing. Yeah. You need to get a goal in the first 15 minutes. You do that, then it's 2-0. Yeah. And on aggregate, if it's 2-0 at half time, you still got a chance. Maybe you need an individual error. That could be, look what happened at Coventry last night with their player passing it back. So an individual error, a contentious decision that works in our favour. As I say, if we're 1-0 up at half time, we're still in it. If we're 0-0 at half time, no way. That being said, I put, and I can't add up actually, but I put a little clip on the fans forum this morning where we've had recovered 3-goal deficits. And we had a match at Mansfield. This one will stick in every City fan's mind. Had a match at Mansfield back in 2002. Now, we were 4-2 down in the 87th minute, right? 4-2 down. I wasn't at that game. I used to watch Villa very occasionally. I was watching Villa play West Ham. And a mate of mine had been texting me the score on my phone. So I knew we were 4-2 down. And I left the Villa game just before I was walking out the road. I could feel my phone vibrating in my pocket. And we hit them for 3 goals from the 87th to the 92nd minute. And we won 5-4. That's not a 3-goal deficit, but that's 3 goals to get victory. The converse of that 2017-18 season, when we were up there going for promotion that year. Incidentally, that year, we had more points. Yeah, we didn't finish in the playoffs, but we had more points, 69 than the 68 we got this year. We played Sunderland at home, and we were 3-0 up after 37 minutes, 3-0 up after 70, and then we conceded an own goal. Josh Brownhill, who's done so well at Burnley since he went there. Josh Brownhill, Aidan McGeady, and then another own goal in the 90th minute, and we drew that one 3-3. Yeah, so.
It's a bit oh man,
I can only remember that. You can tell that they stick in the mind, those two, for totally different reasons.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it all makes sense. It's crazy that a roller coaster of a ride, and it's just, and as you mentioned, like you say Bristol City haven't featured much in the playoffs, but it sounds like when they do, the ties are very interesting and, put you on the edge of your seat. So Monday night, you give it basically no chance at all.
I'm pretty much giving us no chance at all. I mean, we sold 2,000 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be surprised. No, half of them will go, but I think there'll be a fair chunk of people that will just write it off because it's a long way to go on a work day.
Yeah.
Okay, if you witness a miracle, that's what it will be. But it will be a miracle. You will have to be bad, and we would have to be very, very, very good and get a large slice of luck in some shape or form, because Naki Wells, our main goal scoring threat, he hasn't scored. He's got 1 goal in the last 7 games. Yeah. So you wonder where are we going to conjure up 3 goals from?
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it so insurmountable. And like I said to you pre-recording, if this game were 2-0, you would probably be in with a chance. 3-0 kind of makes that mountain, a bit more trickier to traverse.
If it was 2-0, my 5% would probably be raised to 20, 25. And I'd say, but that's dependent on a goal. I mean, we've got to get an early goal to make them think, make Sheffield think. If we don't, then, and I could see you guys, if we're not right mentally, I could see you, because, we're appealing as we record this. We don't know if the Dickey red card has been appealed and been successful.
Yeah.
Joe Williams is out, midfielder who hit the bar. He should have come off when he went down with his first injury, and he didn't. And now he's on crutches, so he won't play in the game. Yeah. But 2-0, 20% chance, but we have to get an early goal. We have to do that.
Yeah, and that's, you mentioned that too, the mentality of the players. I mean, obviously they're going to be up for the game. You're not going to question that, but mentally are they like, well, we're 3-0 down. 2 of our influential players in the side aren't probably going to be in the side. You could see something where just a couple lapses in judgment, Sheffield United get a slot home, maybe a goal or 2. Because I don't think if Bristol City aren't going to mount any sort of comeback, I think it's going to be Sheffield United nicks 1 or 2 maybe.
I think you could quite easily do us 3-0, or if we're not in the right space mentally, and I'm sure we're better prepared. But it coming on the back of the Leeds game and then being 2-0 down against Preston, 3-0, we're not in good form, and you could quite easily hit us for another 3 or 4 if you get an early goal. I think you probably would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Sheffield United go up an early goal, it could be a landslide because then you think then the players' mindsets will be we're down 4-0, this tie's over,
Yeah.
season's over, but start getting ready to go play on the golf course.
It depends how hungry you guys are, because I mean,
Yeah.
you rested 7, didn't you, against Blackburn?
Mhm.
So we were told, and you came back, and they look fresh. I mean, you look very athletic and forceful up front, and I mean, we're out on our feet. I mean, we've used only 24 players this season, and look,
Yeah.
Liam Manning's got his people finding him the young British coach, but he's not given youth. And he has not given youth much of a chance this year, to the extent that he's playing players out of position. There's 1 or 2 players that you could have given minutes to in certain games. Yeah,
Mhm.
Rob Atkinson, he's not a youngster, but we loaned him out to Portsmouth. Yeah, in the second half of the season, and Cal Naismith. Then we lost Rob McNally, the Burnley defender. So and then with Sykes being out and Pring only on the bench, our squad is decimated, but he's flogging. The players are out on their feet, and
Yeah.
I think City fans need to, it's all well and good saying Liam Manning got us there, but he's not perfect, and
Yeah.
if you did a poll among City fans, what percentage would be absolutely gutted if he left? And I would say most fans are a bit 50-50 about it.
Yeah. No. Hey, yeah, it's a very interesting situation, and it sets up an interesting summer for Bristol City going forward. Well, David, for the final time, sign off. Tell the people where they can find the podcast if they want to get a little insight.
Bristol City podcast. We record. We don't do previews. We record match reviews live on YouTube. So we'll be reviewing Monday night's game live, 9:00 on Tuesday morning. And then the audio podcast is available on Spotify or the Acast platform, or wherever you get your podcast. But good luck, Chad, and I'm sure you'll be. Well, you probably won't be there personally, but I'm sure your team will be at Wembley on May the 24th. And it should be an interesting game, because it's right that 3rd and 4th are there, because I don't think Coventry can recover from what happened last night, to be honest.
Yeah, they're kind of behind the 8 ball in a sense, losing that game 2-1 at home. When you had them, and then the comedy of errors to lead to the second Sunderland goal. If you get out of there with a 1-1 draw, you're probably still a bit alive. I don't know. That it's going to be an absolute madhouse at the Stadium Line on Tuesday night, and it's I don't know if Coventry's seen anything like it in some time, but then you're going to have the narrative off the back of it of Frank Lampard's this genius manager that can't manage his way out of a bag. Yeah. So, guys, if you haven't done so, follow Red Half of Sheffield on YouTube, Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram. If you haven't done so already, give this video a like and a subscribe. And until the next match preview, which might be a final, I will leave you with Up the Blades.